Let me ask you something. If I told you there are channels on YouTube with 0 subscribers 6 months ago that are now pulling in 1 to 3 million views every single day, no face on camera, no viral personality, no brand deal to start, would you believe me? Because I wouldn't have believed it either until I pulled up the actual numbers. 1. Channel in the Roblox Shorts space. A channel called Bolt hit 1.5 million subscribers in 40 days. And the person running it was not filming anything. They were running a system. Here's what I want to break down in this video. Not the fantasy version where you post 3 videos and retire. The actual blueprint, niche selection, the AI production stack, the real monetization math, and exactly where most people blow this opportunity in the first 30 days. If I had to build a faceless shorts channel from scratch tomorrow with no audience and no brand, this is the exact system I would run. But before we get into the system, there is one decision that determines whether this business makes $50 a month or $5,000. And almost everyone picks wrong because they are optimizing for the wrong thing. Quick note before we go deeper. If you are new here, welcome to the Income Guide. On this channel, we cut through the noise and break down the real math and practical systems behind scalable online business models. No hype, no overnight claims, just the actual mechanics. If you want these blueprints every week so you can stay ahead of 99% of people trying to figure this out blindly, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Now let's get into the decision that changes everything. When I first looked at the faceless short space, my instinct was to go for the easiest entry point, entertainment content, general facts, that kind of familiar territory with lots of examples to learn from and a low barrier to start. That instinct was wrong, and here is exactly why. In the entertainment niche, YouTube pays somewhere between 1 cent and 5 cents per 1,000 views. In finance or investing content, that number jumps to 8 cents to 35 cents per 1,000 views. You are looking at the exact same video length, the exact same posting schedule, the exact same amount of effort, and yet the income difference is 3 to 10 times over just because of where you planted your channel. So why does almost everyone still choose entertainment? And what is the specific niche combination that gives you high RPM, lower competition, and content you can actually produce consistently without a camera? The RPM difference exists because of advertiser demand. Finance brands, fintech companies, and investing platforms pay a premium to reach an audience that is already thinking about money, whereas entertainment advertisers pay almost nothing because the audience intent is 0. When I looked at the top-performing faceless channels in 2026, the pattern was consistent. The channels clearing 5 figures a month were almost never in entertainment. They were in finance, tech, productivity, or health, niches where the viewer is in a mindset that advertisers actually want to reach and will pay real money to access. If I was starting today, I would pick finance content aimed at Gen Z specifically. Budget tips for people in their first job, basic investing concepts, credit score explainers, digital bank comparisons. This sub-niche has a meaningful gap in it because most finance creators are older and their content feels too formal and slow for the shorts format. Simple language, fast pacing, real numbers, and an RPM that is 3 to 10 times higher than what the entertainment niche next door is earning from the same views. Alright, so niche is locked. Now here is the part where most people spend 2 weeks watching tutorials and never actually build anything. Let me show you the exact production stack step by step and where each tool specifically breaks down if you use it the wrong way. Here is the workflow I would use to produce one short from scratch. Not the polished version, the real version, including where it breaks. Step 1 is the script. I would open ChatGPT and give it a specific topic. Say, explain what a Roth IRA is in 60 seconds for a 22-year-old. The first output is usually usable but bland, and here is where most people make the critical mistake. They take that raw output directly into production. YouTube is actively enforcing against mass-produced, inauthentic content, and raw AI scripts have a structural pattern that the algorithm has started to flag. What I do instead is take the draft, rewrite the first 10 seconds completely in my own voice, and make sure every transition line sounds like a human making a deliberate point rather than a language model completing a sentence. The full script should take 5 to 7 minutes total. If it is taking longer, your original prompt to the AI was too vague to be useful. Step 2 is where channels either sound professional or sound like a GPS from 2009. The voiceover tool you pick, and one specific setting inside it, is the difference between a channel that retains viewers and one that loses them in 3 seconds. 11 Labs is the tool I would use for voiceover. The default voice on the free tier sounds decent, but slightly robotic on fast-paced scripts, and the fix is to go into voice settings and drop the stability slider to around 40% while pushing similarity to around 75%. This makes the delivery sound slightly less perfect, which is exactly what you want. Perfect delivery sounds synthetic, while slightly varied delivery sounds like a real person talking. I tested the default settings against this adjustment on the same script, and the adjusted version consistently felt more natural in playback. You also need the paid tier because the free version limits your monthly minutes too aggressively to run any kind of consistent volume. Step 3 is visuals. For a finance channel, I would use stock footage as the base layer because Canva's built-in stock library handles the licensing question automatically, which removes an entire category of risk from the workflow. The mistake most new channels make here is using footage that is too generic: a person looking at a laptop, a city skyline, a handshake in a boardroom. This kills retention because the visual is not adding anything to what the audio is saying. The better approach is to match the footage directly to the concept being explained. If the script says your money loses value over time, show a price tag going up, not a random office environment. Step 4 is where the actual editing happens, and this is the stage that takes most beginners 2 to 3 hours per video when it should take 30 minutes. Here is the specific system that cuts that time down significantly. CapCut is the right editing tool for shorts. It is free, built natively for vertical format, and the auto caption feature is accurate enough to use with only light corrections afterward. The real time-saving move is to build one template at the start with your caption style, your intro animation, and your outro card all set up. Then save it and start every new video from there. The first video takes 90 minutes to edit because you are building the template from scratch. By video 10, you are at 30 to 40 minutes. By video 30, you are under 20. The system gets faster the more you run it, which is the entire point of building it properly once. Step 5 is music, and this is the step that quietly kills channels. Not immediately, but about 3 weeks in when a copyright claim hits, and videos that were getting 100,000 views suddenly drop to under 1,000 because the algorithm pulls them from distribution entirely. Do not use tracks labeled royalty-free from random download sites, because that label means nothing legally, and a claim can still come in weeks after you publish. Mubert Render generates a track to the exact length of your video from scratch, so there is no pre-existing copyright to claim against, and you run every track through YouTube's copyright checker before publishing. This adds 4 minutes to your workflow, and it is the 4 minutes that keeps your channel alive. The total tool cost for this entire stack runs between $50 and $150 a month, covering 11 labs, Canva, or a stock footage license, CapCut on the free plan, and Mubert. That is your full cost of production with no camera, no studio, and no on-camera talent required. The trade-off is that your hook and your script have to work harder because you do not have a face doing the emotional connection work for you. So the system is built and the tools are running. Now comes the question everyone actually wants answered. How long does it take to make real money, and what does the income actually look like at each stage? Because the honest answer here is meaningfully different from what most videos in this space tell you. I am not going to tell you that shorts alone will make you $10,000 a month because that is not honest and it is not useful. Here is the real math, and then I will show you the model that actually gets you there. To get monetized on YouTube Shorts in 2026, you need 1,000 subscribers and 10 million Shorts views within a 90-day window. That sounds like a massive number, but channels posting 1 to 2 shorts a day in a focused niche are hitting that threshold in 30 to 75 days because consistent volume compounds faster than most people expect. One of the channels I tracked started in late August and was monetized in 60 days after hitting a content reuse issue that delayed them. Another in the animal niche took 75. The fastest I found was 15 days, but that required an already proven format executed with very tight retention hooks from the very first upload. But here is the number that actually matters and that most faceless channel videos conveniently leave out. What does YouTube actually pay per view on shorts, and how many views do you need before this becomes a real income? YouTube keeps 55% of shorts ad revenue, and you keep 45%. At an average RPM of 3 to 10 cents per thousand views, 1 million shorts views earns you somewhere between $30 and $100. To hit $10,000 a month from shorts ad revenue alone, you would need roughly 100 million views per month, and while that is not impossible, Danny's Roblox workflow channels are hitting 1 to 3 million views a day, it is not where 10,000 actually comes from for most channels. The realistic income model stacks multiple streams on top of the shorts base. 10 million shorts views a month in a finance niche earns roughly $1,000 in ad revenue. Those same shorts funnel viewers to long-form content on the same channel where the RPM jumps to $1 to $30 per 1,000 views, adding another 2,000 from long-form if you are pushing 1 million views there monthly. Affiliate links in your description, finance tools, investing platforms can add 3,000 a month at a 2% conversion on your audience. A digital product like a budgeting template or a beginner investing guide adds another 2 to 3,000, and 1 or 2 brand deals a month adds 1,500 on top. That full stack gets you to 10,000, and not one of those numbers is unrealistic for a channel with 6 months of consistent execution behind it. Some people watching this are going to try it, post for 2 weeks, see low view counts, and quit. And I want to explain exactly why that happens, because it is not what you think, and understanding it is what separates the channels that scale from the ones that disappear. The first failure is treating AI as a set-it-and-forget-it machine. Raw AI output uploaded directly is what gets channels demonetized. YouTube's inauthentic content enforcement is real, and it is getting more aggressive over time. AI helps you produce faster, but it does not replace the judgment of what your channel actually is. Every script needs a human edit, and every hook needs to sound like it came from a perspective, not a prompt. The second failure is inconsistency. The channels that monetize fastest are posting at least 1 video a day rather than whenever they feel motivated, because the algorithm rewards momentum above almost everything else. One viral video triggers more distribution, but you cannot get a viral video if you are posting 3 times a week with no pattern. Batch your content by producing 30 videos over a weekend using your established template, schedule them out, and then let analytics tell you what to make next. The third failure is the one that ends channels overnight, and it has nothing to do with content quality or how consistently you are posting. It is a single mistake that most creators do not even realize they are making until the damage is already done and the channel is effectively finished. Copyright. A channel called Wholesome Clip hit 2.1 million views in 90 days, and then a single copyright strike killed the momentum entirely. Dropping videos from 100,000 views each to under 1,000, the channel never recovered. This is not a rare edge case. It is one of the most common ways faceless channels die, and it happens through using gameplay footage without enough transformation, using music from download sites that label files royalty-free but carry no actual legal protection, or using clips that are technically public but not licensed for commercial use. Use Mebert for music, transform any third-party footage significantly, and run every video through YouTube's copyright checker before publishing. None of this is optional, it is channel survival. The fourth failure is choosing the wrong niche because it feels more approachable than watching RPM numbers that are 3 to 10 times lower than the finance or tech alternatives. And the fifth is ignoring retention data entirely. If viewers are dropping off in the first 3 seconds, the algorithm stops distributing your content, which means auto captions for people watching without sound, fast pacing throughout, and a hook that creates a genuine question in the opening 2 seconds are not optional features. They are the core mechanism keeping the algorithm working in your favor. If I had to launch this from scratch tomorrow, here is exactly what the first 30 days look like. Week 1 is entirely set up. You pick your niche using RPM data, finance, or tech for the best return on effort. Then set up your full tool stack with 11 Labs, Canva, CapCut, and Moobert. You spend time studying the top 10 channels in your chosen niche, not to copy them, but to understand what hook structure and pacing they are using that works. By the end of week 1, you have 50 video topic written down, and that list becomes your content runway for the entire month ahead. Week 2 is producing your first batch. You write 30 scripts using the ChatGPT plus manual edit workflow. Generate the voiceovers, pull your visuals, and build your CapCut template once so it is ready to reuse. The goal by the end of week 2 is 30 done videos ready to schedule, not 30 perfect videos, 30 completed videos. Done beats perfect at this stage because you need data from real uploads, not polish from extended editing. Week 3 is where most people quit because the first videos go live and the numbers feel smaller than expected. Here is why that feeling is completely normal and what the data actually tells you to do instead of walking away. You post 1 to 2 shorts every day starting week 3, and you check analytics after 7 days, not after 2. The number you are looking for is average view duration. That single metric tells you which hooks are working and which topics the algorithm is actually pushing. You double down on whatever that pattern shows and produce the next batch using that real data. Week 4 is no longer guesswork because your own channel is telling you exactly what to make next. Here is the complete picture. Faceless Shorts in 2026 is a real opportunity, but it is not a passive income machine, and it is not an overnight play. It is a system with a specific niche, a specific production stack, and a monetization model that stacks multiple income streams because Shorts ad revenue alone does not get you to $10,000 a month. The niche decision is the single highest leverage thing you will do because finance and tech pay 3 to 10 times more per view than entertainment does. The production stack costs $50 to $150 a month and replaces a camera, a studio, and an on-camera personality entirely. Monetization happens at 30 to 75 days for channels posting daily with tight retention hooks, and the channels that fail do so because of copyright mistakes, raw AI output, inconsistent posting, or wrong niche selection, all of which are avoidable if you go in knowing what to watch for. The next video covers something that almost nobody building a faceless channel talks about: how to structure the long-form funnel behind your shorts so that the same audience generating $30 in shorts revenue generates $300 in long-form and affiliate income from exactly the same views. That is where the real numbers come from.